Hey, what's up, Boston sports fans? Welcome to episode 49. Got a good episode on tap for you. He's a Boston sports columnist for CLNS Media, Mike Petraglia. We call him Trags, pretty much what he goes by on Twitter as well. I talk a lot about the Red Sox with him, how he feels the Red Sox record is. I believe they get 63 wins. Is that a legitimate record, or is it kind of fool's gold based on the teams they've been playing? Also going to talk to him about upgrades the team might need to make before the trade deadline, how the Red Sox are going to adjust to Christian Vazquez being on the DL. Is Blake Swihart going to step up in his absence? And then Chris and I are going to touch on the Marcus Smart contract situation, how very little interest he's going to draw around the league. There's few teams rumored to be interested in him, but nothing's really happened on that front. And then we're going to touch on Robert Williams, his not so great start so far with the Celtics. Is he going to be able to adjust with playing in Boston, what he kind of needs to do going forward? And then Chris and I are going to touch a little bit on the Patriots. Tom released a little video with his son trying to play defense on him, so that was pretty funny. You got training camp coming up and a little bit more. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and start off with Marcus Smart. Apparently he's not getting the interest that he thought he was going to get in the restricted free agent market. It kind of seems like a tough year for a lot of restricted free agents across the league. Not a ton of them are getting a ton of money. Or even getting offers, seems like in the past at least, they'd at least get a couple bites here or there, but so far nobody's offered him anything, Chris. There's a few teams reported interest, but who knows if that's the player's agent speaking or whatnot. Supposedly there's 4 teams, one of them being the Nets, another possibly the Kings, depending on which reporter or journalist you listen to. And the report just came out from NBC Sports Boston about 10 minutes ago saying Smart would now reconsider the extension offer that the Celtics made to him last October, which is supposedly greater than 3 years, $33 million. So what do you think of the whole situation, Chris? How do you think it plans out?
Well, like you said, it's crazy that, he's a restricted free agent, and that goes against him this season especially. Teams have money to spend, not everyone, but the team that was supposedly in on him last night was the Kings, who we all know threw a ton at Levine and Chicago match. I mean, like you said, the report now is where that was false, so who's to really believe what's going on exactly right now? I mean, if the Kings threw an offer like that to Marcus Smart, I don't believe the Celtics would match it, do you? I mean, that's a lot of money.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, that was almost $80 million, right, that he got offered?
Yeah, it was a ton of money.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is. I mean, to me, this really comes down to a few things. Do you want to be in Boston and attempt to go after a title, or do you want a payday? Or do you want to take less money, so to speak, on the short-term deal with the Celtics and then hit free agency next season and then go for something? So he's in a really peculiar situation at the moment.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah, it seems to me that Danny's kind of figured out what Marcus is worth, maybe better than what Marcus and his agents value at, and they just don't want to admit it.
Well, I mean, do you really blame them? I mean, no one wants to hear you're worth X amount of dollars when you think you're worth more. I mean, even the common worker doesn't want to hear that. We're talking millions of dollars at this point. So, granted, it's apples and oranges, but the pay scale is similar if you really think about it. I mean, that's the thing with athletes. We see them making millions of dollars. Obviously, they're making more than the common worker. But how many people out there have been at a job and seen someone who they thought, they're more valuable to the company than that worker is, and that other worker is making more money than you?
Oh, yeah, definitely. It happens all the time.
So that's what a lot of these athletes are looking at. Yeah, you're making $10 million, but I feel I'm worth 15.
Right.
So, and I mean, granted, it's a ton of money, obviously. I don't know what he's really worth, to be honest with you. I mean, what type of a deal would appease you, saying, okay, that's a good deal for Marcus Smart, if you're a Celtics fan?
Like 3 and 36, I'd be okay with.
About $12 million a year?
Yeah, 4.48, something like that.
To me, I think what ultimately is going to happen, he's going to take a 1-year deal.
Yeah, he might just sign a qualifying offer.
And what was the qualifying offer? Something like $6 million?
Yeah, a little over maybe. Then
I don't know if he'll do that. I mean, I think they come back with it. See, the problem is where he's restricted. The Celtics hold all the cards, really.
yeah, they do. Big time.
Right? I mean, he can't sit there and just demand anything. He's restricted. And they can match anything, but that's the problem. You get someone like a Philly, for example, and just wants to mess around with the Celtics, and they throw a ton of money at somebody, being Marcus Smart in this situation, it makes it that much more difficult. Where
Sure.
the Celtics might not want to spend that amount of money, but you have to keep them from going away from a team like Philly.
Yeah, that in Indiana too kind of scares me a little.
They're kind of an interesting team.
Yeah.
Oladipo has really come alive, really. He's a talent, for sure,
Yeah,
Oladipo is. But, I mean, overall, does Indy really concern you going forward?
No, but, if they added somebody like Smart, even if they did like a 1-year, like $15 million deal for Smart, that could cause problems for the Celtics maybe. I mean, ultimately the Celtics would get past Indiana, but, Mark is playing with a chip on his shoulder. That's probably not a good thing to go against.
Right. See, to me, even despite what happened to him in the playoffs last season, I'm not talking about the Celtics. I'm talking about Toronto.
Yeah.
You still can't sleep on Toronto despite the coach change and everything else, because they always play the Celtics like crazy. They play them so difficult all the time.
Especially up there.
I think people kind of forget that a little bit, that Toronto gives the Celtics fits much more than Philly does. You saw what happened. You saw what happened last playoffs with the 76ers. To me, there's no way. If both teams are fully healthy, meaning the Celtics got Hayward, Irvin, Tatum, and the rest of the boys, going up against a healthy 76ers team, it's the same outcome. To me, I don't see any way how Philadelphia would get by the Celtics. I just don't see it. And you got these people who keep pumping up the ties of the 76ers, and I'm sitting back. I don't get it. Why? Because on paper they have some good young talent. Okay, I'll give you that. On paper they have good talent, but look what the Celtics did to them last season. And, the counter argument to that is, well, the 76ers didn't have experience, so they got a little bit more for the next time. Well, you didn't have Hayward or Irvin. And Tice, too. I mean, don't sleep on him. He was a factor, too, last year. And the people like your Tatums and your Browns got more experience again. To me, that's still a mismatch all the way around, so I don't understand it. Toronto's kind of a sleeper team to me in the East.
Yeah, it'll be like, how are they going to react with the new coach up there?
Exactly.
With Casey really holding them back? Probably not. Who knows? It's tough to say. But Philly, if Celtics are completely healthy, they could get swept next year if they play them.
Exactly.
They just won it in 5 games with 2 guys missing.
Right.
Yeah, I don't get that at all.
And then we shift out west a little bit. I mean, LA gets LeBron, and all of a sudden Vegas and them are starting to put them up like as a legitimate contender. That team's not going anywhere as is. It's not going to happen.
No, I mean, I think they thought Paul George was going there, or Kawhi. I think they thought they were going to get that little super team. To me, it just seems like all of a sudden nobody wants to play with LeBron.
It's interesting. That's an interesting thought. I mean, does he not want the people around him, or is it vice versa?
Right.
Because you see some reports where it's saying he didn't want Paul George on his team. I don't know how true that is, because I don't really follow, the West all too often, other than what I see on TV. I know it's a bloodbath.
Yeah.
But as is, the Lakers aren't going nowhere, not even close.
Mm-mm.
I mean, is LeBron the best player in the game? That's always a debate. People say him, other people say Durant, and then a lot of people are now starting to say Anthony Davis is a top 5 player, which I believe he's at least top 5.
Yeah.
Minimum top 5, right? You got to figure that.
Yeah.
So does LeBron being the number 1 player, hypothetically speaking, he probably is overall, despite how we all get irritated with him. Unless you're a fan of him, obviously. But LeBron James, without that cast of characters in the Lakers, you got Kuzma, Ingram, Lonzo, I guess, to some extent, if you want to go there. And Rondo now against the Golden State Warriors. Are you kidding me? And they get Cousins. It's like the NBA is just lunacy right now. What are you going to do? How are you going to beat the Warriors? I mean, I'd like an explanation how that happens now, especially with Cousins on the team.
Well, he's supposedly not playing until January, possibly February. Who knows? I mean, maybe he comes in and causes problems. If him and what's his name, if they don't get along, Draymond Green, what if they clash, or what if he clashes with Klay Thompson or, Steph Curry? It could happen. I mean, the guy's kind of had a reputation of being a dink.
Well, he has, but when he cures a lot of problems.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's probably just wishful thinking on my part, but
right.
I mean, he could go there. What if he's frustrated that he's not playing a lot when he comes back? Because it's only a 1-year deal, right? For $5 million.
Yeah,
something like that.
It's basically a show me deal, basically.
Yeah.
And the scary thing about it is, if you really think about this, him coming back in January, February, that's perfect for them. That's like picking up a player at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
Of his caliber. I think he knows what he's getting himself into. But the West is super stacked. So the East, I don't know. Basketball, to me, is really taking a turn for the worse with all these super teams.
Yeah, and then you got Zach Petraglia going to freaking Detroit. That's kind of like a perfect fit.
Right.
It's
funny because you ask all the old people, all older players, like, oh, hell no, I would never play with these super teams that they got now. I don't get it. I don't understand where did things change in the NBA where we got to this point.
Well, LeBron started it when he went to the Heat.
You think so? What about when the Celtics got Rondo from the draft, obviously, but they traded for Garnett and Allen to match along with Pierce? That's a pretty. I mean, if we're being honest with ourselves, that's a pretty decent super team right there.
Yeah, yeah.
And that was pre-Miami.
Yeah. But, I mean, I'm still going to blame LeBron, I think. Just because of the decision nonsense.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
That still ticks me off.
The decision. It's like,
yeah.
I don't get it. That was like a made-for-TV movie.
Oh, yeah.
Basically.
Taking my talents to South Beach. Shut up. Like, my God. Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I don't know. Basketball is a funny sport.
I mean, that too. And they got to fix the officiating. They got to stop making it so blatantly obvious, like what they're doing.
Oh, it's nuts, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like let the teams play, have the best team win. None of this. Oh, we really needed to go 6 or 7 for TV money.
Right. Definitely agree with that.
Yeah, that stuff ticks me off. Get Scott Foster out of the league. That guy's a joke.
You know the fix is in half the time.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I can't stand that guy. There's a few of them. There's a few of them that that shenanigans are on their way when they're involved.
And the funny thing is, the NBA, they put a blind eye to them.
Oh, yeah, they flaunt it pretty much.
I mean, how do you feel this commission is doing compared to Stern?
Same. Just a new person. Yeah.
Just kind of unilateral change, basically.
Yeah. Not a fan.
No?
But, I mean, they all work for the owners, so just like every other sport, the commissioner does whatever the majority of the owners want.
Well, yeah, that's true. I mean, in a way, they kind of have to, really.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't, they won't have a job, but...
Right. I mean, whose side are you going to take, really? You're going to take the player's side? You're going to take the people who pay you?
Right.
I wouldn't want a job as a commissioner. No, thank you.
Right.
It's like when our fantasy football season begins coming up. I'm not being a commissioner.
Nope.
I don't know who's going to do it, but I'm not. I tried getting Rich to do it, but he's not. He's holding the line on this one. He's not doing it this year, so I don't know who's going to do it.
Yeah, we'll find somebody.
It won't be me. I know that. I don't need that headache.
No.
I'll be having much more problems on my hands by the time the draft comes around.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
But anyways, now that rant's over, let's get into Williams, the newest rookie from the Celtics. What's going on with him?
Yeah, he's definitely not shining himself in Celtics glory so far. He was late for his phone conference or whatever the heck it was. Then when he was supposed to be in Vegas, he missed that flight. So he was late for that. Now I guess he has basically a babysitter to keep him in line. And he also has a sort of a knee issue where he's been sitting out games. And apparently they knew about it when they drafted him. That's kind of one of the reasons why he dropped in the draft, because teams were worried about it. It's just, poor guy can't get out of his own way.
Well, now what exactly is wrong with him? Is it like an artery issue that's going on with him, or is it just the knee tendonitis that they were talking about?
Yeah, tendon on the back of your knee.
Yeah.
That's like sore.
Jesus.
Yeah, and when it gets tight or whatever, he can get cramps and stuff from it. they're hoping to avoid surgery right now. They're not going to do it, but eventually it could happen, type of thing.
Is this a situation with him that you think's going to end up basically being a complete bust, I mean, I don't want to sit there and say it's going to happen for sure, but his start right now is like, Jesus, you can't get out of your own way at the moment.
Right. No, I mean, I don't think he's going to be a bust. I don't know. Like, because he was decent in college. He looked pretty good in the tournament this last year. So, I wouldn't say he's going to be a bust. It's definitely not the greatest of starts, but see how he does when he starts playing in the summer league. See how he does at training camp, that kind of stuff. I mean, we all know the roster is basically loaded, so he doesn't need to come in here and try to be a 20-10 guy. He just needs to come in, pretty much do whatever Al Horford tells him to do.
Right. Well, what I'd like to know is what exactly was said to him in the meeting.
Right.
How bad did he get reamed out? Did he get reamed out? We'll never really know the full extent of it.
I bet he did. I mean, like after the phone press conference, he probably didn't get reamed out, but then when the dummy missed his flight, I'm sure he heard it pretty good from Brad, Danny, everybody. Probably his mother.
Probably.
Everybody. You know how moms are. They don't put up with that crap.
Oh, God, no.
So.
I'll be 40 in a couple of weeks. I still get the mom looks, though. You know what I'm talking about. I've been over at your house back in the day when old Mother Thompson would give the look. That look of all hell was about to break loose. Like, I might have to sneak out the back door here and go home.
Right.
I've seen that look before a time or two.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Fred, your old man just kind of doing his own thing. I'm like, oh boy, this is gonna blow up here pretty soon. Damn.
Yeah. Like the little volcano.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. It's like, Williams probably like that acting like the little bratty kid in the store, and the mom kind of gives you that look like, hey, look.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Either straighten out or I'm going to put the smack down on you.
In front of everybody.
Yeah. Oh, my God. Can you imagine?
Yeah, but he better straighten up.
Yeah, he should be lucky Belichick's not his coach.
Oh.
If Belichick was his coach, he'd be already gone already.
Probably, yeah.
Oh, there's no problems about it.
Yeah.
It's definite. Look what he did. People missed practice because of a snowstorm.
Oh, yeah.
He didn't budge. He's like, you're not playing.
Right.
And Belichick just don't play games.
Yeah, that's true. I remember when Revis was late for something, he sent him home.
Right.
Yeah, which somehow that didn't even make the news till after the season, which it's still kind of an upset.
Right. Well,
but yeah, I mean, he better straighten himself out. Just come in, do your thing, do what you're told, be on time. Number one rule, be on time, be accountable, that kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm just trying to fit in. I mean, Jesus.
Exactly. It's like you said, the roster's stacked and pretty much set. I mean, they're looking at end of the rotation people right now. So, like you said, how difficult is it just to show up and get that experience you need going forward?
Yeah, be a post guy, grab defensive rebounds, go from there.
Exactly.
Yeah, I remember seeing him at A&M. He was pretty good. I mean, definitely noticeable. One of the games, I was kind of like, who the heck is that type of stuff?
Right.
I know.
I love it that, he feels to me like he's an old school grinder, so to speak.
Yep.
Which I love that. I mean, we both grew up in the era of a different basketball,
right,
than what we're seeing right now.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah.
So, I mean, seeing something like that is kind of refreshing in a way.
Definitely, big time.
But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be interesting. And then you got Jabari Bird. He's out there killing it right now in the summer league.
Yeah.
It's just like, wow. I mean, who the hell is this guy? Where did he come from?
He had some flashes last year too.
Right. See, my biggest problem with the summer league is, you know, it's basically just an exhibition of, you know, low-level talent combined, and you get the people who just stick out like crazy, and we're like, holy crap.
Yeah.
This guy's going to be the next franchise player. And it's like, yeah, he's gone to the D-League already.
Right. Well, there was Tatum was pretty good last year.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, whoa.
Well, I mean, there are players that just stick out. They're that type of a player.
Right.
And then Tatum sticking out, I'm like, Jesus. You know, this kid's, he's got something here. Yeah,
you are right, though. It is. Some of them stick out, and you think they're going to be great, and, you know, D-League, G-League, whatever it's called now, here we come.
Right. You don't hear from them for like 15 years, and they just kind of show up one day in the playoff game against you, and they hit this obscene shot, like one of their one and only big moments in the NBA to haunt you.
Right.
Oh, crap. Here we go. It's like it's happening. It's happening all over again. But I kind of think that Wanamaker guy is going to be better than people think. I don't know. I just got a hunch he's going to actually fill his role pretty well.
Could be another Tice situation.
Very well could be. I like Tice a lot. I thought he was really good last season.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a shame he got hurt.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah, he was rolling. Like, they easily would have beat the Cavs if he was there. No doubt.
Even without... They would have beat the Cavs if they hit half the shots in Game 7 at home. You're supposed to win that game.
Yeah, that still bugs me.
I mean, it's the NBA. Home teams are supposed to win Game 7s. Not like baseball or hockey, especially. To me, hockey is home ice is the least important out of all sports, I think.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Which is weird. You would think that it'd be some type of advantage for you, but time and time again, you're seeing the away team win on the road. It happened this season in Washington.
Yeah. NFL, like, some of the road teams do pretty well in the playoffs.
Right.
Except for when you go to Denver.
Denver is a Patriots' house of horrors. It gives us all a nightmare thinking about that.
Yep.
Jesus. And the one team, no matter what, you never want to see come against the Patriots in New England is Baltimore.
Right, yeah.
I don't know about you, but I would be scared to death to play Baltimore in the playoffs. That hasn't happened yet.
Oh, yeah. Recently, like this year or next year, yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, it's tough to totally say.
Not now, but
yeah.
Back when they gave us fits all the time, I am so thankful we didn't play them down there.
Yeah, it is a little shocking that it never worked out. Like every time they had a chance to, get home field against us, they couldn't do it.
I hate sitting back and thinking about the what ifs when it comes to the Patriots.
Yep.
I know a little bit all over the place. We're from basketball right into this whole football talk, but I mean, Jesus.
Oh,
realistically speaking,
yeah.
How many titles should they realistically have won? Brady realistically should be undefeated in the Super Bowls. prove me wrong. I understand things happen in football, but yeah.
Yeah, the what if, like you said. Did you see the video Brady put out where he was juking out his son and practicing?
Yeah.
That was pretty
That
funny.
was crazy.
This kid playing the Brian Urlacher role pretty well.
Which is funny you mentioned that because he had a video up prior to that where there was a bear behind him.
Right? Oh, yeah. I wonder how close he actually was.
I don't know, but I wouldn't want to get too close.
No.
You don't mess. That's the one animal that you probably don't want to get pissed off at. You as a bear. I mean, it's like on The Office. I don't know if you ever watched that with Dwight Schrute.
Yeah.
He's always talking about bears and beats and Battlestar Galactica. Crazy. But it is football. It's got right around the corner too here. Camp's what in
end of the month.
A couple of weeks. Yeah. It starts the 26th of July.
Yep.
So we're just about we're in the home stretch now for football. So it's going to be here before we all know it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try to get down there that first weekend.
Right.
Probably the Saturday.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah. Check them out. Yeah, I have to go early. Place is gonna be packed.
It always is.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it'd be nice to get down there to see preseason again, but I'm not gonna be able to this year. There ain't no way. Well,
I just can't wait till training camp starts and hopefully all the drama's over.
Right. It's a pretty, I don't know. I'll talk about, maybe let's talk about the situation some other time.
Yeah, but, with, stop talking about if Gronk's going to be traded or not. Like, they're all
that's another thing. I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to mention to you, what the hell's going on with that?
I don't know.
Still being made available, and how much stock do you put into that?
It's interesting. It really is. Because a couple of months ago, there was reports that, the extension was almost done. They just got to wait till a certain date before it can be final.
Right.
And here we are 2 months later. He still doesn't have a deal. Or him and Belichick arguing again. Probably not. But what's going on with it? Is Bill going to make him play the year out without giving him something as far as money goes? Like, say, if he did get a sweet deal to trade him, is Brady going to threaten retirement again? That kind of stuff. It's nuts. I want the drama to be over. I want him to be able to line up 11 on 11, practice, get ready for the season.
Right.
Save all the soap opera crap for WWE.
Yeah, definitely. It's just been a crazy off season, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes I wonder if this would have been as crazy of an off season had they won the Super Bowl. Would be dealing with this stuff now, or what the deal would be?
It definitely wouldn't be in the front of everything, because people would care less. Be like, who cares? They just won the Super Bowl, that kind of stuff. And now it kind of gets magnified because they lost. Butler didn't play. They all what ifs for that. If he plays, would have mattered. Who knows? Is he better than Jordan Richards? Yeah, absolutely. That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But that kind of stuff that haunts you.
Oh yeah, that's going to be one of the biggest blunders in the Brady Belichick era. Is going to be that Super Bowl with Malcolm not playing.
Yeah, I wonder what really happened. We don't.
We'll never know. Never happen.
I mean, it might come out after Bill retires or something, but
Maybe.
I mean, everyone on him for not playing him. What if it comes out that he did something to one of the coaches or something? Or if he was out partying all night or whatever. Does that change anything?
Right.
Who knows?
All right, Steve, take a break.
All right, yeah, let's take a break. We'll be back in 30 seconds or so. I'm Steve.
And I'm Chris, a.k.a. The Hood.
Join us every Wednesday at 11 a.m. where we break down the week in Boston sports.
You never know what we'll come up with or who we'll have on for a guest.
So be sure to check us out on 12 Ounce Sports, iTunes, and wherever podcasts are available.
Check out our website, www.diehardbostonsportsfans.com.
See you on the show.
We're out. We
are back with Mike Petraglia. How's it going tonight, Mike?
I'm doing well, guys. How are you doing?
Fantastic. Thanks for jumping on with us.
Anytime.
So just jump right into it with the Red Sox. They're, obviously their record is pretty unbelievable right now. Do you think it's a legitimate record, or is it kind of like fool's gold because of some of the teams that they've played so far?
I think that is a very fair question. I think it's half and half. I think, obviously the Red Sox don't control who they play. They just play the schedule. They can just control how they play. And I would say this, the upswing in the Red Sox dominance of the American League and their latest run, 7 games win streak through Monday night, has coincided with the top of their order getting red hot again. And Alex Cora mentioned this after Monday night's 5-0 win, that when you get Benintendi, Betts, and JD Martinez going, it's going to be a lot of fun for him to manage. That was his that was his terminology after Monday night's game. And you can tell that when those guys hit, it really takes the pressure off the rest of the lineup, which it's been well documented. The bottom third of their order for a good part of the season has struggled to really produce. But when the top of the order is doing as well as they're doing, and you've got 2 MVP candidates at the top of the lineup in Mookie Betts and JD Martinez, it just takes the pressure off everybody else. And it's very similar to, what David Ortiz and Manny Ramirez did in the mid-2000s when the Red Sox won World Series in 04 and 07.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking about Cora, we're almost at the All-Star break here. What's impressed you so far in his first managerial position in the first half? What's been... Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I would say very laissez-faire, but, he's got his hands and his on the pulse of the clubhouse, which is really, I think, what the Red Sox wanted. They wanted a manager who was aware of what was going on in the clubhouse, how the team prepared itself, but they didn't want someone micromanaging, and they didn't want the sense that if they had a bad stretch of 2 to 3 games, they were going to be yanked out of the lineup or yanked out of the rotation, or their role in the bullpen would change drastically. And that's what they felt almost to a man with John Farrell. Some guys responded well to that kind of pressure. Others did not. And, I think that's the kind of thing that I've noticed has changed the most in the way the Red Sox have been managed this year. And one of the big reasons why I think the Red Sox have responded and are playing looser and freer, I would say. Last year's last 2 teams have won 93 games, right? So they haven't been, super underperforming, but you could tell that there was a tension, that the players weren't always enjoying coming to the ballpark. This group is very laid back and I think a lot more comfortable in their own skin.
Oh, I agree with that 100%. How concerned are you with Vazquez going down, with Swihart now and have some spot starts going forward? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, I don't think it's ideal. I know he's, catching Hector Velasquez tonight against Texas in Game 2 of the series. And, I think the Red Sox look at this as an opportunity to finally find out over an extended period of time what they have or don't have in Blake Swihart. I think they know he can be a serviceable major league hitter. Actually even more than that. I think they believe with regular plate appearances, he can be a good major league hitter. But can he call a game? Can he defensively get it done behind the plate? That would be my biggest concern. And, how do these pitchers really respond to him? That is what I think, again, this is going to be training by fire a little bit. And I think that's not a bad thing for the Red Sox. I think they have to find out what particular value, specific value, does Blake Swihart bring to the team.
For sure. Thompson?
Yeah, it's definitely, I guess it's better that it's happening now before the trade deadline. So if he ends up imploding behind the plate or whatever, they can go up and get somebody. But
yeah, I don't think that's going to happen. He's not going to implode. He's a very level-headed guy. He takes things as they come. Remember a couple weeks ago, I was covering a game and, Swihart, I think it was after an Eduardo Rodriguez start. And, he just was very calm, cool, and collected about the kind of game he called. It was a game that Erod won. And, he deferred most of the credit, almost all of the credit, to Rodriguez that night. And that moment kind of stuck with me in terms of what kind of personality Blake Swihart is and why I think, there's such potential for him to get the job done. And just, what you're looking for from Blake Swihart in these next 6 to 8 weeks while Vazquez is recovering from his right pinky surgery is somebody just to hold the fort as a reserve to Sandy Leon. And what you really hope doesn't happen is Sandy Leon gets nicked up. That, that's the next domino to fall, and that would be a much, much bigger concern.
Right.
Yeah, I'm glad that he's finally getting a chance to, prove what he can and can't do. It's last couple of years, at least, it doesn't really seem like he's been given a chance.
Yeah, and a lot of that, guys, is just a numbers game.
Yeah.
And, he's been stuck behind Vazquez and Leon. And, obviously the charge of the Red Sox is to win first and develop later and develop second. And obviously you're going to develop just by default at some positions, even when your charge is to win at all costs. You're going to have to develop some talent somewhere. But with Swihart, he's just been stuck in a situation behind two guys that, have pretty much established themselves as major league ready catchers. I think, guys, when you're talking about trades coming up to the July 31st deadline, the Red Sox have to do something to deepen their bullpen. I mean, I think that is pretty apparent to everybody who's watching the Red Sox that they need depth in the 7th and 8th innings. And, Joe Kelly is still a little bit too inconsistent for a lot of people's tastes. A guy like Tuesday night starter Hector Velasquez, I like a lot in that bullpen. Alex Cora likes to use him more in middle relief, where he can extend them. If a starter can't get, into the middle innings, he likes to go to a guy like Velasquez who's already stretched out. But I think they're going to, and Tyler Thornburg obviously came back, over the weekend against Kansas City Royals. He was terrific in that role. That 8th inning role for the Milwaukee Brewers a couple of years ago in 2015. They'd love to see Thornburg return to that role with the Red Sox, but to expect that right out of the chute after his thoracic surgery on his right shoulder, I think that's a bit much to expect.
Yeah, in Boston.
Right, exactly. Where, again, the expectation is not just to make the playoffs, it's to position a team that's ready to get to the World Series and win the World Series. And you'd like to have as few question marks as possible and leave it all up to execution as opposed to anything else when you get deep into the postseason.
You wrote an article, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday. The 2018 Red Sox and those long lost footsteps in 1978 on CLNS Media Network. I recommend everyone to go read that. It's really well done. I had a few questions about that. Are you more concerned with David Price or Dustin Pedroia at this point in time going forward?
David Price. I think they have enough bats, and I believe in Eduardo Nunez enough that he can, fill the stopgap if Dustin Pedroia doesn't even return in 2018. David Price, I'd be concerned about on a number of different levels. First of all, he's just got to be more consistent. His ERA is back up near 4.5. I think it's at 4.44. He goes through these spells where he just gets rocked. And if you go back to early, I know I mentioned his last 4 starts and his 9 home runs and his 7.55 ERA. But if you go back, I think it was in mid to late April, he had a similar stretch where in 4 starts he gave up 8, 7, 4, and 3 runs in that run of 4 starts. And you just wonder if David Price is going to figure it out as a starter and be able to execute when his name is called as perhaps the second starter when you go up against perhaps the Cleveland Indians in a 5-game series. And I'm guessing right now that the Red Sox are not seriously considering moving him to the bullpen as a bullpen option come playoff time, but I wouldn't also rule it out either. And if Eduardo Rodriguez continues to show you over the next 2 months that he is a legit number 3 starter, it's not out of the realm of possibility that you go Chris Sale, Rick Porcello, and Eduardo Rodriguez, and understand that David Price has, a $31 million option next year. He has $127 million left on his the 4 remaining years on his contract. And the Red Sox could very easily play hardball with him and make David Price ask the question, do I really want to come back to Boston? There are so many ways this story could unfold in the next 2 months. It's pretty fascinating. And how David Price handles all of that or doesn't handle it, how he puts it in the rearview mirror and, keeps it out of his stream of consciousness when he takes the hill every 5 days is going to be really, really interesting to watch.
Right. Well, all we're really looking for from Price is some form of consistency going forward. He's always all over the place. I think he really psyched himself out against the Yankees. I swear they're in his head. I don't know if it's just in my own mind or not. I can't figure that one out.
Well, that's the $1 million, the $31 million question that everybody wants to know is if the Red Sox play the Yankees in the postseason, what's David Price's role going to be and where's his head going to be at? And can you depend on him? I mean, when you ask a manager, when you put a starting pitcher on the mound, all you're looking for as a manager is reliability. Yeah, I'm going to rely on this guy, that this guy will be prepared and give it his best. If he gets beat, he gets beat. But you don't want to put a pitcher out there who has doubt in his mind about the opponent he's pitching against when the opponent is already formidable to begin with.
Definitely. Thompson?
Yeah, I was going to ask you about the whole putting him in the bullpen for the playoffs, because really that's the only place he's had success in the playoffs is from the bullpen. So
look, I definitely think it warrants consideration. Obviously, Red Sox fans remember 2008, and I get it. That's a lifetime ago. But last year, take a look at his numbers. He was almost single-handedly the reason that the Red Sox were able to upset the Houston Astros. He was phenomenal against the Astros. And, I believe he gave up a run in game 2, but he was put in a really difficult situation for any pitcher early in that game, in game number 2. But if you look at his numbers and how he pitched, he was really nails. And he's a weapon. And you have so many teams that are looking to add weapons to their bullpen. At the trade deadline, obviously the Yankees are looking to do it. The Astros and Indians could both bolster, use an additional arm or two in their bullpen. And, with the Red Sox, arguably, they got one of those weapons right in their own rotation. And I don't think Dave Dombrowski would hesitate if he feels that David Price's best value to the team is going to the bullpen and pitching 3 times in a 5-game series. He'd do it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, what a shot in the arm for the bullpen that could be.
Yeah, it could be, but hypothetically. But what are you going to get out of him? You never know. That's the problem. Well, I got one last question, and then I'll be all set for the night. How surprised are you by Mitch Moreland this year?
That's a great question. Pleasantly surprised, I got to tell you. And, I remember, in the office where I work, talking with a couple of people who are pretty well connected with the Red Sox, and they were blown away when Mitch Moreland signed his 2-year deal, and the Red Sox signed him to a 2-year extension. And I was like, no, I like Moreland. He is a reliable corner power producer, and he's a great teammate, loves playing in Boston, and, he's very, very steady. And behind guys like Betts and Martinez and even Xander Bogaerts, to have a guy you can rely on like Mitch Moreland, who won't get his nose bent out of shape when you bring in someone like Steve Pearce to hit, left-handed pitching. What Mitch Moreland's been able to do has been really a huge part of the Red Sox success so far this year, and I don't think it gets enough attention, and it's why he's going to the All-Star game.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. It's kind of gone on the radar. That signing by Dombrowski for Moreland over the offseason was huge. I mean, I did a side-by-side in our group of him and Eric Hosmer's numbers, and they're almost identical. And Moreland's having a better season than Hosmer is right now. So I love the sign. I thought it was fantastic.
Well, I also wrote in that column, guys, that if you take a look at what Dombrowski's done and the way he's built this team, he deserves a lot of credit for this particular season. First of all, going with Blake Swihart over Devin Marrero, they wouldn't be in the advantageous position they're in now with regard to catching depth if they had kept Marrero and traded away Swihart. Getting rid of Hanley Ramirez, that really opened up some more opportunities for Mitch Moreland, and and obviously saved them $22 million in a vesting option for 2019. But when you take a look at all of the moves put together, and signing a guy like Mitch Moreland, going out and being patient with Tyler Thornburg, who obviously he acquired last year, he has put together a very versatile and very deep roster, and obviously he's got a $235 million payroll to work with, and so that helps. But he deserves a lot of credit for a lot of the complementary pieces he's put around Mookie Betts and Xander Bogaerts, and obviously you have to start everything with being patient and finally getting the deal done with JD Martinez. Dave Dombrowski right now, he's the leader in the clubhouse for AL Executive of the Year, no question.
Awesome. Everyone definitely check out that article on CLNS Media by Mike. Well done. You got anything else, Thompson?
No, I'm good. Just before you let you go, where can everyone find you?
All right, you can follow me on Twitter, as usual, at Trags, Trags, and follow my stuff on CLNSmedia.com. Patriots will be starting up in a couple of weeks. I'll be down there, obviously providing, pretty much wall-to-wall coverage of the Patriots as they get ready for the 2018 season. I'm also covering the Celtics. I don't expect them making a big move, but with Danny Ainge, you never know. And then I will be filling in the gaps with Red Sox coverage up and through the MLB playoffs.
Fantastic.
Beautiful. Well, have a good night, Trags. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, definitely.
Guys,
Thanks for coming on.
I will be following you all on Facebook, and thanks for having me.
You're welcome. Have a good night. Good stuff.
Yeah, definitely. That article was really well done. If you haven't had a chance to read it, I suggest you read it. I mean, I was in my crib when, the disaster of 1978 happened. The funny thing is, my grandfather had told me that I was particularly cranky that day when disaster struck.
Oh.
So it must have been an omen or some sort. I wasn't just being grumpy for no apparent reason. There was impending doom coming.
Wow, that's crazy.
He's like, yeah, you probably think I'm a little bit, but you were pretty cranky that day. I must have knew something wrong was about to happen.
Right? Oh.
Freaking right out in my crib.
Wow, that's funny.
But there's a lot of good points in that article. I highly recommend checking that article out, and just Trags in general. He does phenomenal work for that company. Phenomenal. I mean,
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
All of us in New England know, but I'm talking to our listeners outside New England on 12 ounce and the people on Full Press who don't necessarily follow the New England scene. Check this guy out because he is top notch.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've been following, been fans of his for a while.
Oh, yeah. we can go back to last summer if you want to revisit, or I'll just leave it be for your sake if you want me to.
Right, yeah, I'm good.
I should give you crap because you'd give me crap. But yeah, definitely, the Sox they basically at this point could fall out of bed and at least get the playoff game, minimum.
Right, yeah.
So I'm not concerned with them. I mean, injury-wise, if something like catastrophic was to happen, like you said with Leon at this point, oh my good Lord,
right.
What are you going to do? And then you got to put all your hope in Swihart, who still is. We think we know what he is, but we don't really know entirely. Like you said, that was a good point in that interview where he's getting the shot now to showcase what he can do.
Right, absolutely.
To me, this is it. This is make or break for Blake Swihart.
Yep.
In my eyes, this is what you see is what you get. If you mess up here, you're probably all done around here.
Oh, easy.
You're probably done anyways, but and that's another thing. That low-key trade of Pierce. How's that look?
What a move!
I mean, we always get on Dombrowski, but damn, he's made some good moves this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, Pierce, he hits good against lefties. He had his first home run at Fenway last night. That was a shot.
That was a moonsault. I mean, it wasn't so much as a bomb, but it was a tomahawk missile over the fence.
Yeah, you got JD. He hit another one last night. Not really surprised at all. I mean, he could legitimately get to 30 home runs before the All-Star break. He's got 28, I believe.
I could go on a 20-minute rant about JD Martinez. We all know that.
Yeah. Well, you wanted him here, but no way you thought he was going to do this.
No, he's performing even more than
Yeah.
I expected, and we all know. Anyone who knows, been listening to us or following us on Twitter or our Facebook group especially.
Yeah.
Diehard Boston sports fans. Yeah, shameless plug, but gotta throw that in there.
Yep.
I was on that all year. I mean, it was like Junior with Tatum. I mean, same type of stuff. I just couldn't get enough of it. People would be like, sitting there and, oh, no, he's going to be overrated. He's going to do this, going to do that. They got a different tone now. And that's okay. I get it. I didn't expect him to be this crazy right now. This is just next level stuff right now. I mean, he's putting up Ramirez numbers right now.
Oh, yeah. It's especially his first year here. It's pretty incredible.
And the only thing I wonder, and I hope doesn't happen, is if he tails off wicked in the second half. Is it going to be all for naught?
Right.
Because now we got this huge expectations of what JD Martinez is doing on this team. It's going to be really difficult to match that in the second half of the season. It's just, he's just gone off the friggin' rails. It's crazy what he's putting up for numbers. If you try to get the fastball inside on him, forget it. Just don't even bother. Because it's either going to go 450 feet or he's going to crank a double.
Right. Oh, yeah. Either way, it's not going to end well.
Right, but like I kept harping to people, I mean, he's such a student of hitting where even if he hits a home run that's 430, he's writing notes down. He's always involved in the game. He's a student of it.
Oh, no doubt.
Same with Manning. People always think Manning was this lovable idiot, goofy. Yeah, he was, but Manny Ramirez was another one who was a complete student of batting.
Oh, yeah.
Same
one of my
exact
favorites.
setup. Same exact thing. Taking notes down.
Yeah,
I kept
video.
telling people, look, don't be surprised that he's not going to hit quite a few homers to right field, because that's really his power alley, is out and right.
Yeah.
When JD Martinez is sitting balls out into right field, primarily in the gap, he's locked in. That's a sure sign that he's locked in, is his power to right field.
Locked and loaded.
You got to have it. I mean, him and Betts, what more can you ask for a first half?
Oh, jeez. They keep this up.
I mean, where would you rank them right now? I mean, first half-wise, it's some of the most impressive half of baseball I've seen in a long time.
Oh, it's got to be way up there. No question about it.
I mean, if they get their pitching in order completely and their batting stays somewhat similar, look out. They're going to be a tough out in the playoffs.
Yeah, I guess that's what the real frustrating thing with Price is like Mike said, is inconsistency.
Yeah, I mean, that's just it. It's the situation where you don't know what you're going to get.
Right.
I think he psychs himself out so bad he doesn't know if he's coming or going at the time.
Right. And oh my God, it's the Yankees.
And Boston's the one
Houston.
city where you can't do that.
No.
Not against New York. I mean, you can have a hiccup against another team, but you would best perform against the Yankees if you're wearing a Sox uniform in New England, or you're in trouble.
Right.
They'll get on you in the streets. It's not like, Miami or Tampa where they don't care half the time. 90% of the time their stadiums are empty. They'll get on you in the streets in Boston. Don't have to even be Boston.
No.
Pick any town in New England, and they're going to get on you if you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Oh, no doubt about it.
I mean, that's the one thing that people outside of New England, they probably understand, but they don't live it, so they're not really getting that sense of passion that goes with being a fan of these teams. And to me, I mean, the Patriots are probably still number one, but at the heart of the matter, New England still bleeds Red Sox red.
Yeah.
We're learned from little kids that that's just the nature of the game. I mean, I learned little. I was probably like 2, 3, 4 years old. I know. I was already getting brought up to me when I was just a little kid.
Yeah.
I'm sure the same with you too.
Oh, easy. Yeah.
It's like, you know, it's not something that we choose. Being a New England fan isn't something that is a choice. You're born into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm kind of trying to be somewhat serious for once in the blue moon, but we're born into this. This is our life. This is just something that we didn't just fall out of bed and one day we're a fan. It's in our DNA.
Yeah, I mean, you
the
have
way it goes. It's passed down. I mean, you have some that are late to it, but they're definitely aware of the situation.
Oh, no doubt. Yeah, I mean, there's some, especially the Patriots, when you have as much success as they've had over the last 15 years. You get some of those bandwagon fans, but for the most part, they're all legitimate fans.
Yeah, but I mean, and you still, even the Sox, I mean,
yeah,
Sox have they still have the pink hats. You know, that happens.
Yeah.
To me, if we're being really honest, the team in New England that, to me, doesn't really have the pink hats is the Bruins.
Mm.
If you're a Bruins fan, you are a Bruins fan, period. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. There's no swaying. You get mad at the Bruins, fine, but the Bruins as a whole, all of us Bruins fans, we might be the most rabid out of all the fans of New England might be Bruins fans. Really, if you think about it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, because it's not like Nantucket. You know, the Bruins organization and the fans, it's lunch pail, it's go to work, it's grind. It is what it is when it comes to the Bruins.
Yeah.
It's not like that's for a whole different ball game, but people get my point here, basically.
Yeah.
I would imagine.
That's a good segue into the Bruins. It kind of stinks that they missed out on Tavarez, but you can see why he went basically back home to Toronto. I really thought they had a shot, though.
I thought so, too. And Ryan, you know, our last week's guest made a lot of valid points. And he had talked to me, damn, it must have been that Wednesday morning. I was talking to him, like, so what do you think? He was like, well, you know, I think he's going to come home. I'm like, man, I hope not.
Yeah.
But he was right. He went there. Now we have this Carlson situation going on. You know, where's he going to go? Dallas, Tampa Bay, maybe, but they just signed Kucherov to a long extension. So
yeah, I don't think that happens. Yeah,
I just want Carlson out of the Atlantic. I don't care where he goes.
Right.
He can go anywhere else, but just stay out of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
But now they're talking that he still might go into Tampa because Callahan might be on the move to let this go down, so he does show up.
What? Wow.
Yeah, that's a rumor I have seen tonight. I don't know exactly how accurate that is, but you know, I don't want to.
We'll see how they would do it because they still got to sign the goalie next year.
I don't know. They don't have any state income tax in Florida.
Yeah, they got the hard cap, like everyone else.
They must have ways around it. That's all I keep hearing about.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, why does Callahan keep getting moved?
I don't know. It's a good question.
Yeah.
It's a great question. Why?
I mean, he does get hurt some, but I thought he had a pretty good series against the Bruins.
Yeah, he did what he had to do.
Yeah.
And then, there's this talk about Panarin.
Yeah.
No one really, us as fans, we want, the least amount of personnel to go for a player. I get that. But people are a little bit over their head if they don't think that to land someone like a Panarin, you're going to lose some people you probably don't want to lose. And we've had this discussion before.
Yeah.
In order for you to get a player like Panarin, you're losing DeBrusque. You're going to lose him. You have to prepare yourself for that. If that's the route you want to go, you're looking at him, probably a pick and a defenseman of some sort. Mm. So if you really want Panarin, are you ready to let go of those pieces to get him?
For me, no. I would pass.
I mean, I get it. I like Jake DeBrusque. Everyone likes Jake DeBrusque. You're hoping Jake DeBrusque turns into a Panarin.
Yeah.
Panarin's already there. It's not an easy situation to do. And what's the right strategy for the Bruins going forward? Do they let the youth play out and see what you got down the road? Or do you make what I call a panic move and you try to fight fire with fire? What's your solution to this?
The reason why I don't do it is because Sweeney sucks at trades. And I like DeBrusque. I think he's going to be really good. Before last year started, we talked about on the podcast that, let the kids play. Let's see how they do. It's going to take them a few years to really contend.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the route I'm going. I'm going with the kids. I want to see what they can do at the NHL level. The ones that are here. And, Frederick, if he comes up this year, see what he can do. Those kind of guys. And, go from there. Don't, like you just said, don't make a panic move. Trying to keep up with Tampa and Toronto. Because, all this is a time when you make a panic move, it bites you in the ass.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. I'm just not doing it.
What you really need to do is make sure you have the money to take care of your players going forward.
Yeah, I mean, they got to take care of McAvoy coming up.
Right. To me, I don't care who. McAvoy's not getting traded, period.
No,
he's off limits. Because, you can find diamonds in the rough, and you can find legitimate, decent wingers, but it's very, very difficult to find a defenseman like a McAvoy.
Yeah.
McAvoy, to me, has Drew Doughty material potential.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he can be that type of player. Now, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Drew Doughty, but he's got that potential where he can be very similar to him. So I'm not trading him at all. Period. End of sentence.
Yeah.
He's off limits.
Yeah, I mean, the defenseman, if I'm trading him, I would look at Krug. I'd look at, Adam McQuaid. Those kind of guys I would look if you're going to trade defensemen.
See, even Krug, what did he have, 60 points last year? 50, 60 points? That's fairly difficult to get from a defenseman. And he's good on the power play. So.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying trade him for a, low-level prospects, but if you're going to, it would have to be a good deal to trade Krug. At least to me, you're not just going to do it to save the cap money, if you will.
Right. I definitely you don't want that to be a salary dump.
No, but if for like the Panarin deal, if they say, okay, well, if you're not going to do DeBrusque, you're going to have to at least give us Krug and some other stuff, I would do something like that. But who knows if they would be up for that? It's tough to say.
Yeah, it is tough to say. It's tough to say.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so stacked in Providence and just overall with youth that they could be contenders for a long time, where a lot of these other teams are going to fizzle.
Yeah,
going for
1,
the big
2
move.
years.
So
Yeah.
I kind of, in a way, agree with you. Just go with the flow and see what happens.
Yeah.
You know you have the pieces. If you really have to make a big move, you can do it.
Right.
That's the thing. They have insurance, so there shouldn't be no big rush to get it done.
No way.
So I don't know. I guess that's it for me. I don't know what else to talk about at the moment. Let's get anything else you want to talk about.
No, it's pretty good, and it's pretty much everything that's going on this past week in the world of Boston sports.
Yeah, pretty much. It's been
as always,
ride so far.
Yeah, as always, you can find us on iTunes, Google Play, the website www.diehardbostonsportsfans.com, Facebook at Diehard Boston Sports Fans, the page and the group. We also have a new page for the podcast, Steve and the Hood Present Boston Sports. Chris has a new Twitter. What's that again?
Mine is at Chris, capital CHRIS _Blackie, BLACKEY.
Cool. Yeah, and mine's We Play for Titles. We have the podcast one, Steve Hood Pod. Also, Diehard Boss Fans. Find us on WTPsports.com. Also, full press coverage and 12-ounce sports radio network tomorrow at 10 a.m., right, Chris?
Yeah, 10 a.m. every Wednesday.
Cool. Every Wednesday.
Unless Jeff says otherwise.
Yeah, so thanks everyone for listening, sharing, downloading this episode, all that good stuff. We appreciate it. Have a good night.
See ya.